Hi guys, I thought I'd put a quick video together as requested on the forum on how to make fondant. To start off with, this is the normal container I'd use. It's stainless steel, it's 10 litres, vertical sides, good decent thick base. I also use this for small batches of sugar syrup, and then I've got a big 30 litre for larger batches. Today, so that you guys can see what's going on, I'm not going to be using this. I've nicked the wife's wok. Nice open surface, you'll be able to see what's going on in there. Ingredients for fondant, very easy. You've got sugar, you've got water, you've got glucose syrup. Used in the following ratio, or for my fondant the following ratio anyway: 1 kilo of sugar to 300 ml of water to 25 grams of glucose syrup. A quick word on equipment. Firstly, a spoon. Once I know what 25 grams looks like, or more usually 50 grams for a 2 kilo batch, I don't bother weighing it, I just do it by volume. For reference, 25 grams is roughly speaking a heaped tablespoon. Next, wooden spatula. Useful for keeping it moving lightly while you're boiling. We'll have a look at that later. But also, just as importantly, to move it while you're cooling. And finally, my old food grade temperature probe, accurate to 0.1 of a degree. Now, you don't need to worry about that. You can buy these fairly cheaply now for probably £5. Doesn't matter whether it's absolutely accurate, provided it's consistent. Remember, you can put that temperature probe in the steam coming out of a kettle, and atmospheric steam will always be 100 degrees. That will give you your error. If it's reading 102, simply knock 2 off the figure. So when you're looking for your 115 to 117 that we will later, you then know that you're actually looking for 117 to 119. A final point in terms of equipment, and that's your water for cooling. I've got a basin here filled with cold water. We'll be using that at the cooling stage later. Your water goes in first. We're going on a full heat until that water boils. That's a couple of minutes, water's up to the boil. We're going to add our glucose now. 25 grams. That's my 25 grams, and that is just being melted straight off of that spoon into the water, which is just being kept roughly at the boil on a lower heat. The glucose is now in, and I'll take that right back, and we'll add our kilo of sugar, and the heat's right back now. I'm now going to mix this very gently on a low heat, so it's not quite boiling, until the vast majority of that sugar has dissolved. Temperature wise, we're starting to come up to the boil. Remember, we've got a load of sugar in here, so you're going to have an elevated boiling point. I know from experience that you don't get a proper boil until you're around about 110 degrees, so we have a way to go. So we're around about 110. We've got quite an even boil going on there. None of this is really being done on time, it's being done on temperature. Although you don't want to boil too aggressively, because you do need to get a little bit of that moisture out. During this process, we'll probably lose about a third of the water in terms of it being boiled off. The rest is going to get captured within the fondant. We're looking for 117. When we get there, it's going to come off the heat very quickly, and it's going to get quenched in that cold water over at the sink. Still on a medium heat. I want some control over this temperature, so I don't want it going up really quickly. There's a little bit of a guesstimate here, although I've got a 0.1 degree probe on this. I've only got a display that goes to 1 degree. So as soon as it stops flicking to 117, I'm going to stop this. We're off the heat, and I'm now quenching it. The heat is going into that water, and it's going to hold at the top because it's going to hold in layers, just like it would in your hot water tank. Put that spoon in every now and again. You don't need to put fresh cold water in, just dissipate that heat. I'll keep cooling here until I'm down to around about 60, at which point I know I can touch it briefly with my hands, and that's the point at which I'm going to start kneading it. So you're going to leave us for a little while, and you'll rejoin us as it starts to whiten, so you can see what sort of temperature it's starting to solidify at. Okay, you've only been gone perhaps 30 seconds, no more than that, but hopefully you can see that it's starting to solidify now, and it's starting to go white. And all I'm doing is gently moving this spatula around the surfaces to make sure that within the limits I can cool this nice and evenly. Start to see the fondant forming here. I'm just trying to keep things nice and even. Don't forget, we don't only want the temperature to be even in the fondant, we want it even in the water underneath. So I've just given that another quick twiddle with that spoon. Starting to look really nice. Party time for the girls. We're now down to the mid 50s. I reckon that's a pretty hot bath, but something I could put my hand in. So I'm going to take it off now and just start kneading. So I'm going to take a few specks of water just onto the work surface. That film of water is going to stop it sticking. The fondant is going to come out straight onto the work surface. Ooh, that is a warm bath. And now I'm kneading it, and the reason I'm kneading it is just in case there are any hard pieces, and I'm sure I'll find one for you in a minute. Yeah, there's one. You do get localized hotter bits of sugar. You can see a large piece there. Have you got that, Will?
Yeah.
So the reason that I'm doing this now is I want it good and even. You've been gone a couple of minutes. I've just been kneading this with my fingers just to try and make sure that it's all smooth and there's no bits in it. You can see it's moving around still quite nicely. It's just a warm bath now, certainly not a hot bath. I'm happy with that. Right, so I'm now ready to pack it off. Easiest way to do that and keep it under control is some cling film. So I'm taking a piece of cling film here. I'm just going to lay that over the top, like so. And I'm now going to start scooping it in so that I've got a nice batch of fondant which is about to get caught up in the cling film. Slap it over. Let's capture the ends. Let's put it in that way. Here's one that's been left overnight. This is a standard 2 kilo batch, which is what I feed to the bees. And I don't know whether you can see, it's pretty firm. This is at around 15 degrees, perhaps 10. Firm enough so it can sit on the queen excluder without going through, soft enough that the guys can get to it easy enough, the guys, the girls even. That's it. How to make fondant.